Tony Dunn. Ain't nothing to it but to do it, brother. Let's roll.
In a world where Carolina Panthers fans have an insatiable thirst for Panthers news and opinions, only one podcast roars ferociously. It's the C3 Panthers Podcast.
Do as I say, not as I do. We just got back from the first day of Carolina Panthers training camp. No sunscreen, no sleep, and I drank beer last night. Guys, good Lord, man, Spartanburg, the armpit of heat and hell. Man, the C3 Panthers Podcast live on assignment here. We are at Panthers training camp. My name is Tony Dunn. I'm here with CK. How are you doing, my friend?
Man, you're going to hear every breath I take. We don't have our normal setup. Yes, and potentially you might even be able to map out the room we're in based on the echo that you're hearing. But, man, I'm happy to be here. We had a good time. We're obviously a bit heat exhausted, but we're going to be, having a good time for the rest of the day today. We've got some stuff planned for tomorrow, Friday, Saturday, and then, of course, we're coming back Sunday. But, man, I just couldn't help but be more excited after doing today, man. Like there was so many things, and there was a palpable difference in quarterback 1 and quarterback 2 and 3. Like you could feel it and you could see it. And it made me incredibly excited by the fact that we saw that today, even just knowing that we can't get too high during these moments of camp. But I'm going to tell you what I saw today, guys. And I'm just happy to be here with Tony in person to chalk it up.
Cody Lack is in the background. Thanks for letting me crash at your house last night, dude.
Yeah, man. Happy to be here with you, boys.
Look, he sounds so tired.
No,
you sound exhausted.
No, I'm curious, man. I wasn't out there today, but I will be there tomorrow with you boys. But yeah, I'm curious, man.
Leave at 7 a.m.
Now that CK said that, I'm wondering curious to see what you guys are had to see today. Sounds pretty interesting.
All right, you're listening to the C3 Panthers Podcast, the longest running Panthers podcast. Smash the thumbs up button, subscribe. We're here in Spartanburg, South Carolina, attending the Carolina Panthers training camp. Day 1 observations are here. Give a shout out. Look, I want to shout out a bunch of fans. I see Marquez in the comments. I think that's the Marquez I met today. Met a lot of fans today. We met a lot of friends. Mark from Gastonia, MFG, Muscles Marinara. We're going to be coming and seeing you just shortly after we get done with this podcast. We're going to rock over there and check out the lay of the land. This is our first time doing the podcast on the road like this. And so we're learning as we go, just like the Carolina Panthers are learning. You can check us out on Spotify, everywhere you get your podcast. Let's get into it right away. Day 1 of training camp. First is the last time I went to training camp, CK, it's been a long time, man. It might have been the year after the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
I have to ask Just Joan. She'll know. She'll remember. We went on a tour of the stadium. I got in trouble for getting on the back of one of the Panthers and taking a picture. Those big statues.
That sounds very Tony.
Yeah. They said, come down. I was like, but I got the picture. And it was so packed then. I mean, obviously the year after the Super Bowl. Yeah. This was a nice look. I don't know how to describe. How would you describe today other than just hot? The crowd was decent, but not incredibly giant.
Right.
It was, I wouldn't say low energy. The crowd was quiet.
And to be fair, we made a decision to stay at a part of the field that was a bit away from the crowd. So I think there were some times when they were cheering, but you're right. The energy didn't feel like it was very high from the fans today. Obviously there wasn't a lot of energy going through the wind either. So
zero breeze. I got a great picture of the flags at the field goal. And CK, you made a great point. This is not really how you test kickers.
Yeah, no, yeah. I'm the entire time I'm like, I want Pinheiro to be kicking into a 30-mile-an-hour crosswind and make the field goal. I don't need him to be tested into kicking into no wind whatsoever.
Like so they say with humidity, when the heat and it's hot, baseballs travel real far. Like if you were hitting home runs and stuff, and like he could probably kick like a 90-yard field goal. It's so hot today.
Yeah.
So look, is really when I walk away from this is look, the practice was not very long. Guys, you got to come out, man, folks. It's a really good experience. It's real personal. We got to see a lot of the media members that we've had on the podcast, from David Newton to Nick Carboni to Chris Jenkins, Charlotte Vibe. We got to hang out with him too.
So you were able to talk to him?
Yeah, man. We were right on the fence. I mean, I got some good pictures. I got good pictures. Panthers, if you're listening, I know you're probably, if you're watching, we did not film a one drop of movement today. I took some pictures. It looked like that was acceptable.
Yeah, the only things they said you couldn't do was video
and audio.
Yeah.
But that's kind of crazy, because I went on Twitter and I saw a bunch of videos from people that were recording their own stuff.
Yeah, I mean, they were not. I didn't see people running around getting in trouble. I mean, they had signs.
They felt more lax.
And we were trying to just be respectful. Look, is like we're going to follow the rules, right? And we're just going to have fun. We don't want to overly break it in a sense. But I took some pictures and I put a couple up of some stills, just some fun stuff of us out there. So look, the practice was not very long. I thought it would be 2 hours.
Yeah, they ended an hour or 30 minutes early.
Yeah, it was an hour and 45 minutes.
I felt robbed. Honestly, I felt robbed of an opportunity. They didn't do a 2-minute drill.
Right. It is day one.
I know. It was a hot day. And
it's not going to get colder.
Right. But it could be a ramp up. It could be one of these things where they're like, let's take it easy.
Nobody got hurt.
Especially if they do see, if they do anticipate using pads tomorrow or even Saturday, like you may not want to do too much over the top with that. And guys, we're going to try to keep up with the chat. It's going to be us in the room trying to keep up with putting those up on the screen. So we're going to try to be diligent in getting those comments up. But one of the things, man, I have to talk about, like, what's the
Bryce Young show?
What's the number one thing we went there for? And it was Bryce Young.
We got exactly what we wanted.
What did we do every time the offense moved?
Oh, we followed. CK, I got to tell you this, is CK was like a kid in a candy shop. Like, he wouldn't stop talking. He was just like, did you see the throw? Did you see it? Dude. Like, he was Cody. CK was giddy.
I was giddy. And here's the thing is I was giddy because you could, and I alluded to it in the beginning, right? There is a visible difference between what Andy Dalton and Matt Corral did. And I hate to tell you, Cody, Matt Corral didn't look good today. He didn't blow it up. He didn't get the interception. Andy Dalton's the only one that got intercepted today. But he wasn't sharp. Even when it wasn't. Even
did you guys hear that?
Yeah, hopefully not. It wasn't. He wasn't sharp in the just when there wasn't any defense involved either. But when I'm telling you, like, perfect stride throws, like, these throws are the throws we've been begging for from a quarterback for years. A throw that is only where the receiver is going to catch it. The receiver didn't have to slow down, or if he did have to have there was one, it was a miraculous throw. And I believe it was to Shi Smith, and it was when they were playing the defense. They were playing, he had Shi Smith coming across the middle, and he was running. He ran past one guy. I guess it was his own defense. I wasn't really paying that much attention, but he was running, and there was Shaq Thompson. Shaq Thompson on the other side of that. So what it looked like was Bryce Young threw behind Shi Smith and caused him to have to stop. But when you saw what happened after he caught the ball, you're like, oh, if he had led him, that was an interception, or Shi Smith was getting murdered, right, in a real game. So he's already got this. And again, that could have been luck. but it's seemingly from my perspective, he's already got this like ability to understand what he's seeing at a very high level and not, and I think I'm echoing. Am I echoing in your mic?
I don't know why.
Not to me.
Oh, okay. It might be coming through your mic then, Cody. But it just feels like he was a veteran on the field today. Like it didn't feel like it was a rookie out there.
There was it felt like this is, and when Cody says, or when CK, should I say his name is Cody, when CK says that Corral didn't look sharp, I wouldn't even say it was that. Is that it was more that there was a difference in what you saw from Bryce Young.
Well, and that's the thing.
It wasn't like it wasn't that Corral was bad or off. Actually, it wasn't. It just felt like this is every pass that Bryce Young threw was in a
dot.
And it looked effortless, right? And it was just like the lead. There's no coming back to the ball. There's no waiting for the ball. It's just like in stride every time.
That Thielen pass.
Now, this was the play. Now, we look as you see, it wasn't much. It was first day. They're getting used to. They're getting accustomed. They really weren't running a ton of stuff out there. But there was one opportunity as they were going offense versus defense that there was pressure on Bryce Young, and obviously they're not going to touch him. And Bryce Young is rolling out with pressure with a guy in his face, and he throws this pass, and Adam Thielen comes back to it. And you just saw this is like, man, it just looked like they made it happen. It's like it's like everything. It's all the things you said, all the things that they say that was the play. That was the play. Now, he didn't get stacked. He didn't get busted into the ground or anything like that because they weren't padding it up. They weren't hitting. But it was Bryce Young and everybody else.
Yeah, that was 1,000%. And we got to see Brian Burns on the field for the first time in the offseason, which I think many of us were looking at. I think that Hayden Hurst looked really good today. He looked like he was moving well. He didn't seem to be hindered by any type of injury from the last year's hernia.
It was almost like this is who, to me, and this is where I have a hard time with these events and this is even with football games, is like, it's so much going, it's hard for me to take it in. Like there's so much sensory experience that you're like, you are seeing so much and you're seeing so little at the same time. And I'm trying to think of, there's a couple of people that stood, I mean, like it was Bryce Young, where it's like visually we saw some things that were impressive. But the other guy to me is I felt like Mingo looked good.
Mingo looked good. Yeah. Right?
Mingo, like he looked like he belonged right away.
Yeah. He was catching balls that were contested. He was in stride. It seemed like his route running looked on point. Again, it limited ability to really review it. Right. But from what it looked like, I mean, he was getting separation and he seemed to be a go-to target for Bryce Young. So I hate to say it, TMJ didn't get a lot of action today.
I didn't. Yeah, it's like,
he was playing a lot more on the second team.
It's just it's hard to tell when they throw one pass and there's three different options. Was he not open? Was he not the number one look? Was it this or that? But I don't see when they went offense and defense, I don't remember him making a catch. And not like he was dropping anything. It was just like
he wasn't even the target.
It went somewhere else to it. He looked good physically, and he looks the part out there. I felt like this is, and we listened to Frank Reich afterwards, and Cody, you're going to love this, is that this offense, the way it's built right now, could be very, very good. Like it could be, Cody has been saying this, is like people are under, like selling what Bryce Young could do potentially as a rookie, what this team could be.
And the receivers.
Yeah.
I feel like these receivers can really be special.
It looked, and they didn't, and I don't know if they weren't really messing with the backs at all today or something, but
I mean, they didn't do a lot of out of the backfield. Like, they didn't seem to be doing a lot of like running back.
Like I was like,
oh,
there's Miles Sanders. I don't even remember seeing.
They They were handing the ball off. I don't know that they were putting in the work to try to do the passing game yet. They did that one with Blackshear at the end.
Yeah.
Who you talked about? So he looked fast. Yeah,
he looks so fast, dude. Cody, here's the one other thing you're gonna love about this is a team where the offense is run by quarterbacks.
Yeah, I love it, man.
Frank Reich and Josh McCown and Thomas Brown? I don't want to mess his name up.
Thomas Brown.
Yeah, Thomas Brown.
And I know Thomas Brown is like, get ready. I don't think we're going to. This is an offense that we've never seen in Carolina before. Like, we're ready to rip it. Right. Yeah. It's like this is not going to be like, oh, we're going to run the ball 30 plus times and try to like, this team looks like they're ready to invest and like, let's go get it.
Here's the only thing. And this is something that was sold to us. Cody, you talked about this. This isn't a burner offense, right? This isn't an offense that's going to be like they threw one deep pass today. That's it.
It was great.
It was it was a great.
DJ
but what they're doing, and this is the thing I talked about. I said this almost identical thing to like 2 or 3 people there. I said because we were talking about not having a deep pass, and then there towards the end they finally got one. But it was a lot of the short crossers, screens, and things like that. But he was making great decisions, and so you talk about how do you beat a team like the Kansas City Chiefs that have such an explosive offense? The only way to do that is to keep them off the field. And the best way to make that happen is when you're doing an 80-yard drive, you've got to extend that thing out 10 minutes. You've got to win on that time of possession, but you don't have to win it like Ron Rivera wants you win it, and that's running the ball every single time you get a chance to, right? You can win it by doing these short over-the-middle passes that get you 6-7 yards. One of them's going to break, and what that's going to do is what happened at the end of practice, open up DJ Chark for a long bomb down the field. I think that is what this offense is intended to be, and so what we were sold about Bryce Young is that it's not going to be deep pass after deep pass after deep pass. He's going to uncork it occasionally, but it's all going to be about that short to intermediate, passing game for him.
Well, I think – and I don't want to pigeonhole it to that as, again, day one, is that it just looked comfortable distributing.
Yeah.
Like, it's like, who's going to get the ball? Everybody.
Right.
Right.
It kind of sounds like a first things first, right? Before we even try to attempt the bigger downfield plays, let's make sure that we're surgical in between that 10 to 15-yard boundary.
Right.
And I think, too, we have to caution – before we make too many kind of big sweeping assessments about the team, is that this is day one.
Yeah.
And like, here's the thing though, is that I really felt like as you just looked at these players, and I've been to a couple of training camps in the past, and now they have big personalities. Like you knew Thomas Davis, you knew Luke Kuechly. The team felt very teamish. Like it looked like the guys were together a lot. There was a certain camaraderie, but it looked like this team is ready. And what I mean is ready to be better. I don't think we're going to have to sit here and go, oh, well, this is a 3-year project. Like, I think that we are going to be competitive from day one.
Can I tell you the one part of the team that didn't feel like much of a team?
What's that?
How long was CJ Henderson just not in the group with the other cornerbacks? He was just sitting there on the sideline. They were all huddled up and talking, and
he's not a people dude.
I know, but
for like, someone who's coming off the type of season,
like he was at the start of when they broke from doing their warm-ups. Everybody obviously does that together. They went and separated, I guess, into the position groups, and J.C. Horn and Dante Jackson were throwing the ball back and forth. Jeremy Chin was there with them.
And Horn were throwing it too. Yeah.
Yeah. So it was Jeremy Chin, Horn, and Dante Jackson throwing the ball, and Henderson's about 10 yards beside them, just
working on his dropbacks.
Yeah. A little bit. And so working. I mean, no, he was just standing there, hands on his hips, wasn't he? Like he wasn't doing much.
Again, it's like I'm gonna have to tomorrow. We're gonna have to really mentally
pay attention
about how we're gonna divvy
up
we know
what
to look at.
We know how they're gonna. If assuming they have the same way of organizing tomorrow, we know the strategy that they're gonna do. It's not like it was in years past that you experienced where they seem to practice on the far field to where you can't actually watch it. But I think that spot on that edge is still the place to be, even though they seem to alternate over there. So we're gonna have Cody in with us tomorrow, and we're gonna have to be in a good spot. There's some shaded spots that people aren't, putting a lot of effort into putting themselves into. But it doesn't have that side look that everybody wants to see. They want to see that, see the Madden or the broadcast look from the 50-yard line.
There was one point we heard that so CJ Henderson's wearing 23.
20, 20,
and then
23.
Von Bell bought his 24, Cody.
Yeah.
So Von Bell came and bought, and we were talking about this. Is CK asked, how much do you think it cost to buy the jersey from Henderson?
Yeah.
And I was like, probably not that much. He's like, I don't really like football that much anyway. My number doesn't matter.
I said, here's my thought is, number one, does the agent get involved with something like that? It's got to, right?
I don't think it's as expensive as you think.
But I mean, if you're thinking about from CJ Henderson's perspective, right, he's not going to be a sought after free agent after this year, unless something drastically changes this year. He's not going to be a sought after free agent. And Von Bell just got a contract.
We need to know, and chat, help us out with this, is who made the interception. I didn't get to see it. There was an incredible.
I think it was Luvu.
Luvu? Oh, really? They said he'd been in the league for a minute, made his.
And who threw the interception? You said
Dalton. Dalton, yeah. It was a great interception. It was a diving interception. It was It was a great play by Luvu, if it was Luvu. I think I was listening to the press conference, and I don't know if everybody's had an opportunity to hear Reich talk about Bryce Young, but
middle linebacker Hill.
Oh, really?
Who was that?
I have no idea.
I don't even know. Here, I got the paper in my pocket anymore of all the names.
I just assumed based on the fact he said he'd been
Special
special teams previously, and he's a linebacker, and I'm just like, well, I guess it would be second team to be fair, so maybe. But the question, I guess, or with that Frank Reich interview, the dude was like gushing over Bryce Young. Like, and maybe I'm just reading into it, but he was like, he's a grown man. He's taking command of the huddle. He's got his own leadership style, and he's coming out here and progressing. He is QB1. He's made it very clear that is QB1. He didn't say anybody else was QB1. It is Bryce Young's show, like at this point.
Oh, it was the Brugler Hill.
Oh.
The new guy, which he has been in the league for a long time, and he was brought in free agency. That actually might be a guy that's fighting to push some guys out. Maybe, who knows? She said. Eris Claire says, I thought Krugler Hill came from Arizona. It was either there or, I mean, he's played for a couple of different teams.
Somebody said Eagles as well. Yeah.
So, all right. So, and again, this comes back to this is. Here, let me give some shout outs. Let's do this. We'll shout out Quentin Carmichael from Sprush Cuts Barbershop. You can check him out at www.thecut.co. And he came up to us, and we introduced ourselves earlier. And he cuts.
He said he's the personal barber to Darius Leonard.
Yeah. So,
which, by the way,
very cool.
Isn't Darius Leonard no longer Darius Leonard?
Shaq Leonard now?
Isn't it Shaq Leonard?
I have no idea. I was like,
or am I thinking the wrong person?
I was like, is this guy on the team? I felt bad.
And the other thing is, like, why is he at a Panthers training camp?
The Colts inside linebacker?
Unless we have a Darius Leonard. I don't know why he'd be at a Panthers game if it's the Colts.
Well, he played in South Carolina. He played in the Carolinas.
Yeah, I bet you that's what it is. I bet you it was the same. So he goes by Shaq. He doesn't go by. So I wonder if he's still calling it Darius Leonard because most people are only going to recognize him as Darius Leonard.
Well, that brings me to a question that I have for y'all. I mean, obviously, it's so much easier to see something on the offense and the timing and the rhythm. But, were there any defensive players? And again, I know it's kind of hard to see defensive players stand out with no pads and shit. But
I'll be happy to tell you.
What do you think? Or were there any players on defense that
I felt like
stood out, and maybe they just looked fast on the field?
I was trying to watch everybody. I was watching numbers. I was watching everything. Derek Brown was constantly in the backfield.
Nice.
And I hate to say it, there was pressure pretty much on every single offensive snap.
We're calling him Triple B.
Triple B. Yeah.
About that business Brown.
But that and there was one time Dalton was in and Brown had, obviously you can't tackle the quarterback. But he had gotten so quickly, he had gotten back into the backfield. Dalton
goes, that's a sack.
That's a sack. Sack. It's so much of a sack.
And then he threw it away still.
No, it was a sack that, like, because you want to keep the play going. So, like, Dalton still held the ball, and, like, Derek Brown was standing there beside him for, like, 2 seconds.
Walked and took a water break.
Yeah, it was. And so, like, it was a clear sack. And so he just threw the ball away after that. But it was, I would say the defensive line as a whole was getting pressure all day. The problem is the back end wasn't holding up there into the bargain, keeping the receivers locked down.
All right. So from our vantage point, and maybe this is the limitation that we had. So think of it kind of like we're being like a sort of a corner end zone view, right? So, and the field kind of crowns up a little so that you can't, they're big. It's hard to see over some of the people.
Yeah.
So there's two things that I would say that when we make observations about the defense, and one is actually both are actually lack of observations here. And this might not make you feel great. One is my problem is that from my vantage point, it was kind of hard to see what the defensive alignment looked like.
Yeah.
Like what is this defense, like the formations and like how they're laid out. Now, a lot of times they're not even full. It's not like they were full on full. It was like 7-on-7 type stuff. And not even that. Sometimes it felt even less, but so the one is Cody is tomorrow. And actually this is what we'll need to do for the next 2 days. We need to make a list of this crap, and we're going to start writing this down. I need to take some notes. Note number one is like, how can we look at these formations and to see how they're using people like Louver,
Chin,
and
Burns, even
and Derek Brown, like what technique they have him lined up,
right? So those alignments, right? That's what I want to look at, and I'm going to write this in the notes right now for tomorrow. Is because when you get out there, man, you're sweating.
Oh man,
you're like people. You're talking to people,
and that's the thing is it's a social event, and it's you're trying to observe practice. Like if you go in there with a plan, you're not gonna meet your plan 100%.
We're gonna meet it tomorrow.
But you can have a goal in mind, and I think that's the focus. And I almost wonder if we should split up and watch different parts of practice, get different perspectives tomorrow.
I think so. So then we're not just talking to each other the whole time.
Yeah.
But the other, so one is I didn't get to see the alignments as much or note them as much as I'd like or at all. And the other, to answer your question, Cody, is it was not like, DBs are making plays. It was like, Bryce Young completing every pass.
Yeah. That was but again, the other part of this is training camp, and how much is it that they're not getting contact on these guys?
This is so
vanilla
favored
right now
for the offense.
But even with it being that way, like it's a clear difference between the three quarterbacks who's the number one guy.
So
like, it's not even a question.
I also wanted to say this too, like when it comes to like the 7-on-7 or just like or throwing the football, it's going to be easier for the offense to look good. But when you don't have pads on, and it's going to be easier for the defensive line to look better than the O-line when they're not like actually going full contact. So that also doesn't surprise me when you say that, like, the offensive line was pretty much constantly giving up pressure, and Derek Brown was in the backfield. Like, that seems about par for the course. I think we're just going to have to continue to watch these next couple of days to see what kind of things that we notice that are the same day after day.
Yeah, and I look is in this is probably, I'm trying to think of what some other final observations, I guess, or whatever you want to talk about and what you want to go for, and then we're gonna go get some lunch, dude.
Yeah, we got to get out to Monster Subs
before they close.
Before they close at 6.
Oh, they close at 6.
Yeah, he came in the chat and told us he closed at 6.
Okay, that's no problem.
Paisan.
I know is well, I lost my train of thought. It just felt like this could have been this. I feel like this is forever. We've just been such a defensive oriented team.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, we're going to run the ball with Cam. We're going to grind this sucker down. We're going to try to beat our opponents and just grind them into the ground. With Matt Rule, we didn't have an identity. Like, I didn't know even what type of team we were trying to be.
Right.
And then with this one, I really feel like all of a sudden we might get what we've been asking for.
Yeah.
And that is an offensive driven team.
Yeah. No, 1,000%.
It just felt like, for me, maybe it was just me wanting to watch Bryce. It just felt like the stars are on offense. The team, and I'm not trying to diminish the defenses. Like, it was, and again, like, it was just easier.
It was easier to see the success of the offense.
Yeah.
Like, you couldn't see all the wins of the defense. You could see the wins of the offense happen every play.
And there was a couple, so I saw one time where the team was cheering, so they broke something. Maybe that was what they were. Maybe they were reacting to the interception.
Yeah, that was the only time I saw them do anything like any of that. I just didn't see any, like, I didn't feel the seatbelt aspect of our defensive backs. I don't know how much Dante Jackson actually got to see the field in those drills, because their intention is to bring them along, the guys who had those injuries, to bring them along slowly. So we're going to find out, I guess, more tomorrow as these guys are ramping up a little bit more. And I think Saturday is going to be fun. Yeah, I think we're going to get I think tomorrow is going to be better for us. We're going to get our bearings. We're kind of rushed. We're trying to get, in fact, one of the things about this is, like, we're coming back and setting up for the podcast, and, like, I haven't eaten. My brain is, like, cooked inside my head and mush. So trying to figure out is, like, tomorrow we're going to get there a little bit earlier. We're going to, Cody, just a heads up, don't leave at 8.
No, I'm gonna get up at like 5 in the morning.
Well, you don't have to leave that early. You don't have to get there that early.
No, I'm not saying leaving at 5. I'm saying
you gotta get ready. Yeah,
it took an hour and a half to get here. So
I would say 7. Leave by 7.
Yeah, or 7:30. Yeah, because you guys, I don't know if you're gonna drive as like I was driving.
Yeah.
But I was slow out the door this morning. I know CK. I heard CK's voice. He's like, "Oh, you're not even on the road," and I was like, "Oh, fuck."
No, I heard him, and I heard him answer the phone, and you could tell, that voice somebody has when they wake up. Like, I knew I woke him up, and I'm like, I'm glad I called him.
Yeah.
But he has time to get here. It wasn't anything that was a panic. The practice didn't start until 10:15, and quite honestly, we got there at a perfect time.
You didn't have to get there super early.
Yeah,
it was nice. It was a decent crowd, but it wasn't. You know what? I would say it was a good crowd.
Yeah.
It was a good crowd. It was not, but a lot of people were interested in autographs. Like, they were all posted up on that fence.
Yeah,
far back.
I think, Cody, if you are wanting to do that, like, I think if you're wanting to get autographs tomorrow, you certainly want to get there early so we can get you over onto that fence, the fence line that you would get the autographs from. I mean, I think you can be anywhere on that fence line. Some of the people, Dom got a few. He might be able to tell you if he was on the path, like at the far end over there where they walk back up to the dorms, or if he was still over there near the hill was. But if he was at the hill, man, you don't have to worry about it. Just post up, and you can have those. Everybody had umbrellas, so you can make sure you have your umbrella as well. And
this was the best idea.
Yes.
The card. I just handed these cards out. I hope the Panthers aren't going to get upset with me. You know what? I didn't not sell anything.
Yeah.
Just hey, check us out. No, it was really relaxed today. Everybody was nice. All the attendants were super nice. Like the traffic people, the people telling you to go through the security.
Yeah.
Like, there was no aggravation.
No,
there was zero aggravation. It was like really fun. Now, for us, we were trying to figure it out, and you're trying to gauge what is the team going to do, where they're going to be at. If they go back to that second field and we can get back in that shade corner, it will be the best experience ever.
Yeah, that would be great. I will say this much. One thing we'll talk about before we hop on. I don't know if we're wanting to hop off right now, but talking to media members, you learn how much they hated Matt Rule.
Yeah. Well, that
There
was
was one
obvious
guy
last night when we were doing the Shayna Quick thing.
Right. Well, I'll express it to you. We were told about a scenario that when they do the practice bubble, and they basically there's the time where the media can be in there, and then there's the time after that where they can't be. So they'll blow the horn.
And so it's time to leave.
Time to leave for the media. And they're walking out. Like they're literally walking out. There's not
carrying their cameras.
They're carrying their cameras. And Matt Rule is flipping his shit. Get them out of here. You know, all that, like that type of stuff. Like, we're walking out, jackass. Like, what do you want? Like, that's what apparently
egomaniac.
Yeah, this is what we were this organization was dealing with in Matt Rule. And that's just one person that we talked to today.
Yeah, so we talked to now they are
it's stories like that makes this victimhood BS that Matt Rule continues to do.
Dude.
So even more annoying. I'll never let my kids go through that again. It seems like everything that happened to him, he brought on to himself.
He So it's like look. This is the thing that I said to a couple people today, Cody, is all the things and all the shit we talked about Matt Rule. Everything we said, it was worse.
Yeah,
like the reality of the situation was worse. Like when we said the team didn't is like how much he screwed it up. It's to be honest, it's a miracle that we feel as comfortable we do with the team that we have at this moment. And kudos to Scott Finnerer. Like how they took this pile of this rubbish, the heap of rubble, and so quickly turned it into what I think could all of a sudden be an immediately competitive team.
Yeah.
I mean, it feels like this as I look. Oh, okay. So here I got some other observations for you. Bravion Roy is fucking fat. He is a zero tech. This dude is short, and he makes Derek Brown look skinny.
Yeah, he's like a boulder.
I'll give you another observation.
When I say fat, I'm not trying to be rude. Yeah. It's just like he is a big boy.
Hey, how about this? He's built like a zero technique defensive tackle.
Yes, right. Exactly. He makes McCall look in shape.
My next observation leads us into another conversation. Okay. And that is Brian Burns is ginormous.
Yeah.
Yeah. People forget that he's 6'5".
Dude is huge. And when I saw him lining up on that defensive line, I'm like, he looks like it reminds me of
like Cam.
You can
it's just like a guy that looks you're among giants and you look and you stand out.
Right. You stand out. Like it's you can almost feel their presence. Like when you see him on the field, you're like, your eyes go directly to him. You're gonna see where he's at any moment because that dude is giant. It's similar to Bosa, similar to Cam. But that brings me to my other part, and this is where to our point of us being a contender this year, Brian Burns was asked something in his interview, and he was asked, he said, did you ever have a thought of holding out and not showing up to camp? He said, no. He said, not at all. He said, obviously my personal goals are important, but he said, what we're building here is more important, is bigger than that. And it makes you realize, I don't know that would be the feeling that any player had if we were still a Matt Rule led team.
Yeah, for sure.
Oh,
if you were gonna be playing for that,
get out of here.
Right. He would have made me. He would have been like, I'm holding out until you pay me guaranteed. I'm not going to come back to this shithole unless I'm getting compensated to as a number one defensive end. So I respect his decision, and I absolutely love that. I'm not saying he shouldn't get paid. Honestly, I think that's
you know why he changed his number to 0, Cody?
Why?
Because he said put a 3 and 7 zeros behind it.
But he said what now?
It's a joke. I feel like it's funnier in my head when I say it than when I've tried to make it to CK twice, and he's like, I kind of get it. It's like it's because he wants a bunch of zeros on that paycheck.
Oh, on the contract.
Yeah.
On that paycheck.
I want a 3
and then followed by 7 zeros.
7 zeros
per year.
So, we're talking about Matt Rule and how terrible things were. Does it make you feel more bad for guys like Derek Brown and Brian Burns, and the fact that they've had to be under these coaches, and it's like they're great players, but it's almost like we're just now in year 2023, like only now are we really going to have an opportunity to see what they're truly capable of doing under a great coaching staff.
We were talking with these two nice guys. We're just making observations, talking about the team. One was, I think, named Kenny, and one was named Kevin. I think was what their names are. One's a Taekwondo teacher. So if you guys are listening, you're real cool guys. And this one guy, he asked, and I think his name was Kevin. He said, like twice, he says, "Who do you think on this team is going to be a guy that we see that significantly was just languishing?" Like you're asking, exactly what you're asking, Cody, is like players that are good
that weren't being cultivated into great players.
Yes. And so I know the easy answer right away is Tommy Tremble, because he was like, "Hey, we're getting coached."
Yeah.
You wonder if it's Terrace, but it feels like this is about that business Brown. Like all of a sudden these guys are could quickly thrive. Like and what we said is so much, and maybe I've been too hard on the team in some cases, is that we don't have any stars, like superstars. Like Brian Burns is the superstar. Now we got Bryce Young, but other than that, we have players.
We have good players, but nobody that's we don't have an A-list. We're not dealing with A-list players on the team right now. Right. At least
that we
are. No,
like
or at least not that we've seen yet.
I mean, I think we're probably underestimating how good Von Bell is. And you know what? Maybe Shaq is about to, have. I mean, look, Shaq over the last 2 years or 3 years has played his best football in Carolina.
Yeah,
like he's actually like a fine wine now,
getting better with age. Yeah. He's got that Thomas Davis trajectory without the injuries,
right? And so all of a sudden, we might have stars on this team. We just didn't know it. And they were not stars because they were being impeded. And the question is I would really love to, I wonder just how much of a mess the meetings were, the thing like this. And it turns out that Matt Rule was just an egomaniac.
Yeah.
The other thing is Frank Reich is a big dude. Like you see Josh McCown, Frank Reich, and Andy. Like he looks like Frank Reich could put on the pads and go throw the football.
They look like former NFL players.
They do.
Yes,
they do. They look like
quarterbacks.
They have. I said that to Tony. I said, I got McCown and Reich mixed up at first, and I was like, they look almost identical because of their height and their stance. Like they have a similar way they carry themselves.
Yeah.
And Dalton's the same way. Like there's something about that position that it seems to be cause these guys to look very similar in their body language.
I might need to bring some, but I should have brought some binoculars.
I had some. I thought about bringing them, but they're so it would be so far. I'd be in their crotch. I'd be like, oh yeah, he's sweating.
Look, he's got nose hairs.
Oh man, he's dang. He needs his bathroom.
Yeah. But the reason I asked that is I was like, I want to identify where Thomas Brown was because I know where Josh McCown and Frank Reich were. And they were just right behind Bryce Young, just eating it up.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, it was like, they were like, it was Frank Reich. It was, do you remember that when they went to go see CJ Stroud? And it was like, that picture of Frank Reich taken, like it was like, oh, look at him doting over him like a child.
He looks like a proud papa.
Yeah, they were right. It felt like this is Frank Reich was ready to let, and maybe I'm just exaggerating this just from my vantage point. It was like, let all the other coaches coach everything else.
I'm just going to handle this.
I'm going to be right here making sure that this kid is the truth. Right. You know what I mean? Like it was like, that's where he was standing 5 feet, like when Bryce Young dropped back, he was like in Frank Reich's lap. Not it was just like it was his vantage. Like he almost was like I was wishing he could be taking the snaps
every time he would. He was getting so close that he could just blow.
It's like what you were saying earlier. It's like what you were saying earlier, Tony. It's like it feels as though this is now a quarterback-driven team. This is an offensive team, and they're really honing in on living and dying from the quarterback position. And if you look at the last 3 years under Matt Rule, we've had talented players, but we've just not had one, the coaching staff, that's apparent, but number two, the quarterback that down in, down out, you could depend on. And now that they're giving so much attention to Bryce, and now that he's looking so good so early on, I mean, every step of the way, Bryce has been one step ahead of the game.
Somebody in the press conference, Cody, asked Frank Reich, is Bryce Young QB1?
He said he didn't hesitate.
Yeah, but I was like, where have you been at? I was thinking like to the.
Well, to be fair, he wasn't officially named as like QB1. He's been officially named like he's going to take the first team reps because Andy Dalton doesn't need the first team reps. But
this is the Bryce Young is the real deal, dude. Like there's only one simple question about Bryce Young, and that is, will he survive? Right?
Yeah,
like,
at this point, that's the only thing.
Like there is zero. And the one thing is, Cody, I said that he doesn't have a bazooka. And he might not have like the biggest arm in the history of the world.
Justin Herbert on.
Right. But I tell you this is, I think sometimes it looks all right. So when you see Randy Moss, if you go back and watch Randy Moss highlights, and it looks like he's not even running fast, like trying to run fast, but he's like outrunning people by like 10 yards. So it looks
jogging faster than everyone else can run.
It looks so easy that you mistake that easiness for I don't know, like it's like he's not. So I'm wondering, and what I'm trying to say is this is like sometimes I would go, maybe it's not that Bryce doesn't have a cannon. He just throws the ball so perfectly and effortlessly that it doesn't look like, oh, I'm trying to go, but it actually is. It's getting there. I would say this is I saw one missed pass from him, and it was Hayden Hurst, that irritated me because I was hoping right away but it would look like a timing thing, and
it was a little too high,
and it was to the sideline. There was one that was but it was just there were. If this was a game, if we would have charted his passes, he would have been like 39 for 41.
And like not just 39 for 41. Like I'm seriously telling you, like what I saw was they were perfectly placed passes. Like we're not talking about like there were quite a few that Andy Dalton had completed that were down at somebody's knees, and somebody had to jump up and catch, and somebody had to stop for about a second or two and actually get the ball once the ball got to them.
Yeah.
These were not. These were in stride or right where the ball needed to be. Like, and when I'm talking in stride, I'm talking about perfectly in stride. Dude didn't have to stop or slow down a single step. There were like when they first started their
speed up, not like it's like you're gonna maximize. It would be like if you have ever been on the highway and you're changing lanes and there's like no touching the brake. You're just weaving. Like it feels like, and this is where this offense could be nasty as shit, bro. Like, and nasty is in a good way. It's like these guys all of a sudden could be cooking. Because like if you're hitting these guys open, how many times? And look, is like goes back to a lot of different players we've had, and with Cam, that was the thing with Cam is like people waiting on it. You know what I'm saying? Like having to wait on it, or it's too far. Like imagine if you could be running your 4.4 speed and actually take advantage of that. So like you don't have to then accelerate after you get the ball. What if you're running full speed and it hits you right in the hands in the perfect spot, and you don't have to change your stride or anything. And you might see how fast these guys get to play. It looked, and look, is maybe, and I think CK is rubbing off. Like, it was like CK really at the beginning. I was like, God, man, you are laying it on thick, homie. He was like, you would not believe it, Cody. You would love it. You were like, you would be. I was like, gosh, I can't wait for Cody.
Oh, wait until double Cody teams up tomorrow. We're gonna be insufferable,
dude. No, he was. Cody was like, CK was like, did you see that? Did you see? Like, it was like a parent and they're like filming their kid at
we deserve this, man. We've been through so much hell. CK deserves to feel that way, man.
Right.
Do you want to see the you could probably pull it up. Fetty, he put a video up of the DJ Chark pass.
Yeah, and apparently video that he put up, it got retweeted by Bleacher Report.
Yeah, Gridiron, yeah.
Stuff, yeah. But there's a great comment in the chat. Rich Kingston said makes a huge yards after the catch difference, and CK, you were talking about that
that's
earlier.
what I'm talking about. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, you were talking about that earlier. That pass that he threw to Adam Thielen, and where it looked like it might have been behind him, but if it would have been in front of him, it would have been an interception. And another thing that I think goes into building trust between a quarterback and his wide receiver core is you're responsible for the health and safety of your receivers. And you're talking about Cam, and sometimes it would overthrow, or it would be a little bit, too high or whatever. And if you're putting your position or your receivers in a position to take a big hit, then it's like they're not trusting you as much, and you don't necessarily feel safe if they're throwing these errant passes. And it just seems like that with Bryce, he's gonna have that perfect ball placement, keep his receivers safe, and allow them to have enough time to do what Rich Kingston said, have those yards after the catch type plays, which I think our receivers are uniquely built to do. Like, they're big, they're strong, they're fast. Jonathan Mingo is a player that has a lot of yards after the catch potential. And it just seems like
this is the Thielen. And let me see if this is the one.
Oh, this is the one. This is the one that you were talking about.
Yes, that's the pressure in the face.
Oh yeah, replay that one. I want to watch it.
All right, well, and I'll loop again.
Yeah, that was pretty sick.
Is the pressure in the face? This is who gets to Brian? Is that about that business, Brown? Was that about that business, Brown?
Kind of hard to see.
95, yeah, it was 95. I'm telling you, he's been in that backfield all day today.
Look, that's it. All right, so
Derek Brown.
You said
Derek Brown. You said Brian Burns is tall. Derek Brown is also.
Yeah, he's big.
Massive.
Yeah.
You said he's got the DJ Shark.
Yeah, Monty does. The deep pass. Yeah, this one is basically the only deep pass that they actually made today, or even attempted. And it's, again, you can't ask for a more perfect position for this. You're going to see the defenders, and that's what I want you to pay attention to, where this ball is placed and what this coverage looks like, and how well this is just it's just an amazing throw. And it wasn't like a 70-yard bomb or anything like that, but it was a deep pass to DJ Chark, which I know many people are hoping we're going to see more of this year.
Woo! Good timing. Yes, sir.
I've done a delay, so.
Woo! Good timing. Yes, sir.
No. That was not it. It's another one that he did that's underneath that. It's got like 22K views or something like that.
If you go in the creators chat, I know it's in there too.
Yeah, he retweeted the gridiron retweet.
Oh, that's another question. Did y'all notice Bryce under center a lot, or was he mainly?
It was a mixture. There was some shotgun. There was some under center. It wasn't mainly one or the other.
Do y'all remember that clip of the ESPN guy. His name escapes me right now. He was almost a Panther coach. He loves the Panthers.
Dan Orlovsky.
Yeah, Dan Orlovsky was talking about Drew Brees and how the Saints benefited from putting Drew under center, even though he was short, because it opened up throwing lanes and it allowed him to see.
Here it is, right here.
I wonder if that's going to be something that the Panthers are also going to.
Monty's going to get everybody in trouble. They're going to be. I bet you tomorrow.
Yeah, I already saw in the creators chat they were saying they're going to start cracking down on it.
Look, is this it? Yeah, this is it. Boom.
Wow, dude, look at his footwork, man.
And that was shotgun there.
Dude, look at watch Bryce's feet. Boom, 1, 2, 3, zone. Dude, that guy is just
like just in between those two defenders too. Like
I really do think this offense can be prolific this year, y'all. I really do.
Yeah, I think look at that. He's threading it right in the bucket.
Yeah, right between two guys. Like
is that you overthrow that's a pick. You underthrow it, it's a pick. Yeah. I mean, now look, let's be fair, if this was a real game, could that one of those guys have tried to blow him up when he catches that, right? Look, because that underneath defender might have just smashed his blow. You know what I'm saying? Could have gotten Shark killed there.
Right. That's the question is how much of this is they're not running at full speed because they don't want to. He's trying to
because he holds up. He holds up. Imagine if you laid out. What if you laid out and tried to clobber him right there? Is that a pass breakup? And it is number 25. Who's number 25?
Xavier Woods.
Yep.
But again, going back to this receiving core, and I have so many people.
How far is that pass right there?
To me, that looks like a 40.
He's going to throw it from 30, the 20.
45 yards.
He's on the 20.
It was a 45-yard pass.
And again, this is what I'm saying. I kind of think that we're underestimating the arm of Bryce.
I feel like that's what I'm saying with the Randy Moss comment. It might that it just looks too easy.
Well, I don't think that we're underestimating. I honestly, just based on what we've seen today, I don't know that it's just going to be I don't think that this team is going to flourish off of the deep balls. You know what I mean? I don't think that's going to be a primary way of getting yards for this offense. I think this offense is.
I think it's too early.
I think this offense
it's too early to say
based on what we know about Bryce Young. I think this offense is going to be about efficiency and not the low percentage throws that are going to be down the field.
I'm with Cody on this. Let's not put a ceiling on it.
Oh no, and I think he has the arm. I mean, clearly he just threw it 45 yards there, and with no heaving or anything. He wasn't having to wind up or anything like that. That was a flick of the wrist, and the dude got it down the field 45 yards.
Let's do this. We'll do 10 more minutes.
Okay.
All right, and let's turn the show over to the chat, and we'll start asking. And I have not. This is why I need Cody in my life, because I can't do all of this at the same time. And Cody,
well, you don't have a keyboard and a mouse either. Yeah. So
again, I was like, should? What an idiot!
I love you too, baby.
Yeah, but no, we had a great time. These cards too, bro. Have you ever been to Vegas?
Yeah.
The guys.
Yeah.
That's what I should do. Is do the pop, and they're always passing out the.
Here you go.
And they give out the for the hookers. That's what I should say. You know what?
The escort
tomorrow. I did say this to CK. This is my favorite part about a hotel, and thanks for hooking up the really nice digs, dude. Maybe we could have got some soundproofing walls though.
Yeah, I should have put the request in. Can you put some soundproof foam up, please? Or do you have a studio we can use?
They're like,
do you have a podcasting room?
Do you have a podcasting room? The other thing we could try to do is the only thing is we have to figure out how to get the sound gate to work. That's my concern about monsters. We're gonna have to talk about that if the sound gate's gonna pick up everything in the background.
Yeah, I don't know. It didn't sound bad in Cody's room. It wasn't tingy like
yeah.
But the thing that I was gonna say, but thank you for the digs with the hotel. But my favorite part about a hotel is like absurdly killing the planet with overuse of air conditioning.
Oh God!
And I told CK after we cooked, I was like, dude, tonight my teeth are going to be chattering. And that's how cold I'm going to set this air conditioner to. I'm going to set it to Antarctica.
Put it to 63. Let's go.
Yeah. But okay, so I want to turn this over to the chat. I saw this is first question because look, as we want to look, this is a show by fans for fans. Who said it? I saw someone ask this. What receiver looked the best today? I think it was Eric. Yeah, Eric asked. By the way, Eric's a super fan. Look, and we haven't even put this out. First I want to thank Joe Riolano, my real brother, man. Joe asked this, how was it at camp today? Packed. We'll start with Joey since he's a co-founder in this.
Yeah.
It was, at first I thought it was a small crowd. Like when I walked in, I was like, man, it was not overwhelming. But then as you looked kind of out and where people filled out, and I think too, again, where the autographs were, I would say it was a nice crowd on a Wednesday.
Yeah.
If anything, I think the crowd was sapped by the heat.
Yeah. I think people were nuked.
Yeah. That's a good way of putting it. All right. So let's do this. Is Eric asked this, is what receiver looked the best?
I think it's got to be Thielen at this point. Mingo looked nice. DJ Chark obviously had that big play down the field.
Good, dude. He had that other one I just showed on the sideline.
Yeah,
he's so tall, dude. He could be all right. So when I got, and I'm gonna say Shark and Mingo. I think it's Shark.
Mingo's a close one. I don't know. I don't know that
really cool.
The thing is, I don't think one person like overly separated themselves from the rest of the pack. I just don't think like DJ Chark had some catches, but I'm like again, and the things that we did.
He had the big deep one, and then he had the sideline one. I mean, those are two more than I remember anybody. And
Mingo had some really good passes that he caught. Thielen had that one that was that sideline and under pressure. That was more of a Bryce Young getting the ball to him. But like, I think and this is just from some of the people in the chat as well. We have we didn't have the ability to see what people were doing when they weren't getting the ball, like what their separation. And I hear Adam Thielen made Jeremy Chin broke his ankles for the most part on a pass that didn't come his way. So, I mean, that's why I say it looked like the reason I'm saying Adam Thielen is for a guy who's supposed to be washed up and not able to compete at a high level. The dude looked like he still had some speed to him.
Yeah. Dude, I am going to be so insufferable this year.
I think you get ready.
Because, dude, especially so many people on the free for all that are like, oh, we have a below average receiving core. This is what I'm saying. You're missing the forest for the trees. We have big, fast, long wingspan wide receivers that can go get a football. I don't care what they've done before. They've never been in this offense, and they've never had Bryce Young throwing them the ball.
Yes.
I can't wait to show my ass this year.
You are, and get ready to do it, dude. Get ready to do it.
Oh, you're going to love it tomorrow.
It's like, because Adam Thielen first, I think, look, to follow up on CK's point about Thielen, is they signed him to a deal that wasn't a one-year deal. We remember the way that he talked about the staff and how they envision him working. He doesn't think he's washed. The staff doesn't think he's washed. And he's ready to play. He's got a leadership role. You can see it already.
Yeah.
And it's not just like, oh, I'm a vet like Ricky Pro was at the end where he's just like there to be a teacher.
Yeah.
He's there to teach and play.
Yeah.
But I tell you this, and look, his Mingo, look, for day one, is like he looks like he belongs. Like all of a sudden is like you're gonna and I'm not trying to diss on DJ Moore. But it's like all of a sudden, you know how we're like, oh God, we don't have DJ Moore. Like I don't think
you don't feel that way.
I think you're going to be like, oh,
DJ
wow. Who? Yeah, and then I'm going to tell you what is the real answer to this, man. DJ Chark. That's who. And I think this, Cody, is I formed some opinions about DJ Chark without truly watching and knowing him as a player.
Yeah.
And my opinions were this, is that he's a guy that's going to take the top off.
Yeah.
Take the top off. I thought he would be more like a one-trick pony like Robbie Chosen Anderson.
Yeah.
Dude, I think DJ Chark has the talent, the size, the ability, and the capability to be like a number one.
Yeah.
A number one, right? Like he is big.
Sure.
He's fast. He could all of a sudden I think this, and I want to follow up.
I hear he's been drinking a lot of milk lately too.
It was, who said this? It was somebody who is Troy. It wasn't Troy. Someone in the chat. Oh, Josh. Josh says, I believe Chark is just as talented as Moore. Just wait. Like, I think this is like all of a sudden there's a chance. Like, I was worried that there's not a lot of fantasy value on this football team. DJ Chark could, at the end of the year, have like 1,300 yards and 10 touchdowns.
Well, I picked up Adam Thielen and Terrace Marshall Jr. in our dynasty league.
Somebody in the chat asked, how did Terrace Marshall Jr. look? I would say this
absent.
I mean, he had too hard.
Here's my reasoning for saying that. And
we're
it
not
could be that they're
replays of him.
We're not watching replays of him, and I don't think it's because of him. I think they might just be on a rotation to try to find the guys. The thing that I'm concerned about, that everybody should be concerned about, if you thought Terrace Marshall Jr. was going to be the next guy like I did, Mingo's taking first-team reps. And 88 was taking second-team reps today.
I thought I think Terrace Marshall, I hope that he gets a real opportunity. The question is is there going to be enough? Are we going from a place where that was just DJ Moore and Christian McCaffrey to now there's too many mouths to feed? But I tell you this, Cody, and to the chat, is Terrace Marshall Jr. looks the part though.
I know
he looks
good.
like you're like, that's an NFL wide receiver.
What was interesting is that, and it might have been that all the other receivers were down doing punt returns or something, but at the very beginning of practice, when all the position groups were separated, Chark and TMJ were over on the sideline doing like little drills, throwing the ball back and forth to one another, separate from everybody else. And so I don't know if that is like Chark trying to show TMJ some tricks and tips or what, but those guys were noticeably separate from the rest of the team and the rest of the wide receivers. It could be for other reasons, but it's worth at least keeping an eye on tomorrow if that's something that happens again.
Other thing, Cody, is Shi Smith made a real nice catch in the middle, right? Like, and so you're like, at least like, as he's out there competing. Demir Bird looked just as good. It looked beautiful, like a little baby bird.
Yeah, Demir, he had some good catches today.
But I'm telling you, dude,
who looked better, Shi Smith or Demir Bird?
Same.
Shi Smith was playing with first team, and Demir was playing with second team. So,
yeah, I wouldn't even. Yeah, and it's really hard. I need to again. We're gonna have to start writing it. We're almost gonna need to try to note. Like pull out a form and try to say who is Bryce, who's on the field with Bryce, who's on the field with Dalton, who's on the field with Corral.
I'm fully expecting TMJ to be first team tomorrow, to get that opportunity with Bryce and see if that connection can be the same that it was with Mingo today. I find it incredibly encouraging that Mingo was on the team with the first team reps today, though. Like that tells me that they have an incredible level of confidence in that dude.
How much of it is, do you think they just want to make sure that some of the talented players are available for Andy Dalton and Matt Corral? Like, it's not, where it's not a situation where all of our best receivers that can actually make separation and make catches, they're only playing with Bryce. give the other guys some opportunities to be able to make some plays with our receivers.
First, we got the best crew. We got the best crew of people. Last night we had the great stories, the calls. Oh, wait until you come back and hear some of the calls from last night.
Oh man,
of how people are invested in our podcast. I just got this text message from a listener, and I don't know who it came from. Last 4 digits, 7645. I don't think they put their name in it. I'm gonna read it to you. Tony, sitting here listening to last night's show, and I heard you mention that we dropped down under 100 superfan members. Bro, that ain't ever gonna be me dropping. Every month, my wife asks me when she's going over the finances, what's this little $2.13 charge to YouTube? And I have to remind her that I'm an OG member. I think I was one of the first 11 to sign up. Anyway, y'all have fun down in Spartanburg. Travel safe. I wish I could join you down there, but I'm up in Chapel Hill doing my work thing. This is the year 20C3.
Yeah.
Damn.
Oh, here it is. Oh, he did. He texted back. He said, by the way, this is John Jenkins.
Oh,
John.
John
I'm telling you, like, I got
appreciate you, man.
I got goosebumps, dude.
Yeah.
That's
awesome.
Goosebumps. John, well, that's the PJ Walker super fan.
Cody, right? you're gonna feel even better when you get to training camp tomorrow. The amount of people that recognized C3 out there was honestly a bit surprising.
Yeah,
kind of endearing.
And we flew under the radar, right?
Yeah,
it's like we were kind of hiding out in the along the corner, hanging. Actually, we were rocking with the media.
Yeah, we were hanging out with the media over there,
which was kind of cool. It's like we might as well have been.
Yeah, we almost we
6 inches away.
It'll be kind of hard to miss me.
No, but we had a great time. Man, it was nice. And look, we got our bearings today. We're about to go get some food. We're gonna head to Monster Subs, go ahead and check things out, get ready for tomorrow, make our plan, and get some things together. The year of, so we were talking to a lot of fans, and people were saying this is like even people who hadn't. I gave the card to somebody, said just check out our podcast. He said, well, you guys just getting started? I was like, nah, man, we're the longest running. We're doing this longer than the damn team. He said, that's what's up. It's like that's what he said. Well, this is a good time.
Yeah.
And
exactly.
I was thinking this is like, we've been walking in the desert like the Jews, 40 days, 49, like just searching for years. How long did you like
40 years? I think they were in the desert.
Yeah. Looking for what, like this is manna.
Yeah.
The manna from heaven is here. And like, it was like, we put in the work and look, is I'm sure everybody, all the creators out there have been working hard doing stuff like that, so we put in work in the desert, and now we are at the oasis, bro.
Well, we still got a few more years to climb. Like, I'm not literally, hopefully, but my point is,
what if we just
like, we're not there yet.
Off 10? If we reel off 10 wins or more this year, win the NFC South and go to the playoffs, like this freaking podcast is going to the moon, baby.
Yeah. Well, and that's a testament to this community, man. I hesitate to use community because a lot of people use that very loosely, but
like a family.
Family is a great way to put it, and I don't take that term lightly. Family means a lot to me, and so when I have you guys, and you have people that are constantly in the chat who know who you are, know your life, who even help me get like with my little baby shower. Like people, I mean, like it's something that I greatly appreciate, and it's one of the reasons that that it's something that we continue to grind on. If we didn't have the people here, it would be a little more difficult to justify taking, 5 days away from my newborn and wife to come down here and do this. So this is just a testament. The fact that I'm here, the fact that we're here is a testament to the people in the chat and the people that constantly support the squad. And we're going to be here. We're not going anywhere.
I want to thank you for this too. I told this to Cody, and Cody was probably half asleep when I told him this last night.
No.
Is CK, you're the reason we're here. And what I mean today, is like, because this would have been one of those things like, I want to go, but I find a million reasons not to.
Yeah.
And you were saying this, we're going this year.
Yeah.
Like you made this, you were like, and it was like to the point where it was like, gosh, I feel guilty for even like, all right, we got to do it.
Well, it was a multitude of different things. I remember last year after training camp, I was like, we've got to do this. We got to do this. Not only do we have to do this, we have to do something at Monster Subs, right? Because my Muscles Marinara Paisan over here has been a longtime supporter, and even last year we learned of his own venture there with the restaurant, and it's something that and I think it's a lesson we all can learn in life. This isn't obviously necessarily paying off immediately,
right? But
you got to take chances. You can't continue to move through life with the hope that things are going to change when you don't change.
Yeah,
and
you're right.
And so we can continue, and I think that's something that we've been doing is changing. We've been adding different types of content. We've been changing the way we approach things, and I think now we've just got to change the fact that we're no longer just guys in our rooms.
Yeah.
Like, we're recognized. Tony, you're recognized in a lot easier than people recognize me. You got that hair and you got that voice.
What's up, Mark from Gastonia, by the way?
Yes.
Yeah, MFG. He's on. He goes on WFNZ. 92.7, I believe, Charlotte Sports Radio, and he goes, C3, Tony. He said, I recognize you by your voice.
Yeah, that's what he said.
I was like, yeah. I was like, all right, so great stuff. Look, I want to thank all the people in the chat room right now. Thank you for subscribing. The number's
130 people watching right now, man.
Ooh, This is a good one. You got to go to that Derek. Oh, this is a better one. One. You got to go to that Thielen one. It's the Panthers just put it out. It says, "Oh, hi there. Oh, hey, Adam Thielen," and then you see where Derek Brown was, and then tell me that height of Bryce Young is a concern after this video you're about to watch.
All right, let's see.
This is the same play that we've already watched, but it's the slow-mo from a different angle.
Okay.
And then we'll wrap it up for the evening and go get some lunch or dinner. What are you looking for?
The present button? Why is it missing?
Huh?
Like the share screen.
Cody, you're not up and sure.
No, it's at the bottom.
I know. Like you can't see it.
It's like frozen. Can you hit the full screen on that? Oh yeah, it's like
here we go.
Z-Bird every day in the chat says where y'all eating at around Charlotte. Tomorrow we are going to be at Monster Subs in Spartanburg, South Carolina after training camp. So come check us out.
All right, what does the tweet say?
Oh, hey, Adam Thielen. Look at Derek Brown. Look how in his face he was. And look at this just perfect placement of that ball, dude.
We got that squad.
Now, the only thing here is, and we'll finish with this, is that again, you guys, like you mentioned, is that the offense is going to look better in here.
Yeah.
The one thing is I will say is that, all right, so if you're the defense here and you're Derek Brown and you want to punish him, which I would want to punish an opposing quarterback,
right,
and say, look, you're going to get that throw. I might not sack you, but I'm going to push you.
Right. He's going to get contact after that most of the time.
But Bryce Young in juxtaposition to Derek Brown,
right,
the flag, there's not going to be.
Oh, he'll draw some flags.
Yeah. You remember when Cam and he looked at the ref and the ref said, you're not old enough to get that call?
Yeah.
That almost, Cam was such a giant force.
Yeah.
That he could have played defensive end, that they didn't give him the calls. Like it was like they didn't feel sorry for him when they're headhunt. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, and that was clear. They're going to be like,
They're going to
protecting our little baby.
These defensive players are going to look at, what did I do? He's like, you just assaulted a teenager, bro. Like,
yeah. Oh yeah. They're looking like Cam doing the skeet on.
Dude, this dude's a preteen, and you just laid him out like he was nothing.
Yeah, this is child abuse.
Happy birthday yesterday to Bryce Young.
Apparently, it's Xavier Woods' birthday
Professor
today.
X, they call him. Professor X. So, look, that's the C3 Panthers podcast brought to you by CarolinaCatChronicles.com. Thank you for all the people that have in the chat. Thank you for supporting us, subscribing. Go ahead and smash the thumbs up button. We're on Spotify. We're on iTunes. iTunes is the most popular place that people listen to us. So a lot of Apple people like to listen to podcasts. Leave us a review, subscribe. One of the best things you can do is hit share. Share it on Facebook. Share it on Twitter. Let people know that we exist, because this is the year of 20C3. And I want to thank every single person who's like my daughter pleaded to buy the merch. Thank you guys. You guys have been great. I got to go eat.
Yeah, I'm hungry.
So,
and by the way, definitely check that out. That was an all-time moment last night. If you missed it, Tony's daughter called into the show, and she's a natural. If ever we get tired of Tony, we can replace him with her.
Yeah, like I'm worried, dude. I'm worried that she is. Come on. She's gonna take over here.
Yeah.
And look, Cody, this is when I need that. Cody, I need you.
I know.
I need you. All right, let's get out of here. Thanks, guys. Cody, we'll see you, man. We'll see you. Hold up.
All right, keep pounding.
Oh, wait, I should do the stinger.